France's economy. France has a mixed economy, but it's more market oriented, which just means that the public and private enterprises within the country have more say in economics than the government does. And France has a highly developed economy, which people have highlighted, like in this chart below. Here I just put some basic information about France, their currency, their central bank, and etc. But one thing that stuck out to me was the EMU, and I really like how European nations have grown to rely on each other during like economic struggles, which you don't see the US and Mexico and Canada doing something like that. Okay, the roles of the government and the individual. The governments do their basic producer factor, as in producing transportation for the individual, public goods, and etc. It's almost the same as the US, except for those businesses have a stronger presence in the economy and the roles of opening up these jobs and etc. As stated in the individual one, how all these different industries have created more job opportunities for the individual than more government jobs. And the individual still plays a consumer, and a lot of French culture is valued in the production of its goods, which the consumer plays a big part of. Energy. France has been top in the energy game since World War II, but now they're more focused on nuclear and renewable, and they have the second largest wind potential in the EU. And France's biggest industry is tourism, as they have a lot of attractions and Fashion Week and etc. That's when all of the businesses come in and they do their thing, and Fashion Week is actually when the economy thrives the most in France. And with all these big businesses and other opportunities, it also brings up a lot of other French industries. And the part two, insurance, is actually really big. And under insurance, it connected to the Story of Monetary Policy comic for me, because it showed how these insurance companies are spreading out throughout France, which are allowing more people to have more access to different plans and actions to get what they need after they retire and have the money they need, so new generations can come in and start making their own businesses and moving the economy. Some challenges. I think almost every country has had a high unemployment rate since COVID-19, but something I found interesting was France's economic freedom score is 65.9, which is seen as kind of low since US's is 75. And this has to do with them being more market-based and private businesses having a lot of more say on what they do and how the economy of France perceives it and takes action with it. Also, competition. China and Germany are real big in producing, and they produce more than France can sell, and France mainly produces just for French citizens and barely for international imports. In this last slide, I just compare and contrast the United States and France, and using everything I learned and how they're different and how they're similar. And they're not much different. It's just that France has a more market base, and that when it comes to the consumer, they focus more on putting more French culture into what's being produced, because most of it's staying in France. And this quote right here about fashion is, it really intrigued me about how France spends more money on fashion than producing automobiles and other industries that could impact the individual as a whole, in a longer run. And citations.